Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we're welcoming a new manufacturer to the channel. Today we are going to take a look at the Kansept Kyro. Now, before I go any farther in this review, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you guys some good content. Now, let's go over some specs on this knife. We have an overall length of 8.08 inches, a blade length at 3.58 inches, a cutting edge at 3.75 inches, blade width at 1.125 inches, blade thickness coming in at 0.15 inches, with D2 blade steel, with a very nice drop point blade with a flat grind and satin finish, a handle length of 4.50 inches, a handle width of 1 inch, a handle thickness of 0.51 inches, some micarta for the scales, and I'm still not sure if this is actually canvas or a tight weave burlap. We'll talk more about this in a bit. We have a weight coming in at 4.14 ounces, and we have a right hand only tip-up carry. And one of the best parts about this knife is the price, and that is 56 bucks, which is not too bad at all for what you're getting. Let me tell you, this is a good price. Just leave that right there. Now let's go over some size comparisons. I've got some good size comparisons here that I think will give you guys a good idea of just what we're looking at here. We have the CJRB large feldspar, and we have the Civivi Insight. The scales, the handle on the Civivi Insight is rather similar to the Cairo. A little more contoured here, a little longer, but as far as the overall, the ultimate feel in your hand, that's pretty close to it. And really, in overall length and size, you were coming in pretty close with both of these, with the Insight being a little closer, I would say. And let's take a look at a couple that everyone know, the Spyderco Shaman, as well as the Spyderco PM2. As you can see there, both a little longer, both have their unique Spyderco handles, but in overall size comparison, not too bad there. And last little grouping here of a couple that I think are a little extra comparable and work pretty well. The Cold Steel Code 4 and the ZT0562CF. The biggest thing to take away from this is while the blade shapes are pretty much the same, these knives are a little longer at the end of the handles, but the width of the handles are all very similar. And really, the feel of this guy in hand is kind of in between these two. Not quite as thin as the Code 4. The Code 4 is notoriously thin, which makes it for a great EDC option. And the ZT is kind of like a glove. This is somewhere in between those two, but I think that gives a pretty good comparison right there. And now let's go into the blade of this guy, which is a absolutely gorgeous drop point blade, if I do say so myself. We have a nice swedge that isn't too overpowering, but it's there to be seen, and it also reduced some weight. So that was very well executed. Has a very nice cutout here on the blade that will come into much bigger play when we start talking about the action here. We have very nice jimping on the spine of the blade here. Not too aggressive, but enough for your thumb to bite down into. And no jimping on the flipper tab, but this is one of the very few flipper tabs to where I don't really mind there not being jimping. I still wish there was, guys. I always wish there was jimping on a flipper tab. But even with there not being jimping there, the way this is angled, it's kind of not coming up, but it's coming straight out. So it allows your finger to get a good little bite on it as you're going to flip down. Your finger's less likely to slip off as compared to some flipper tabs that don't have jimping and are kind of angled down. This one's basically coming straight out, and it works very well. I am getting ahead of myself into the action there. Let's talk more about this edge, because this edge is a slicer. It is measuring at 15 thousandths behind the edge. So a very nice, obviously not a full flat grind, but that flat grind is coming up a good amount, every bit of 3/4, if not more, up the blade, depending what part you're actually looking at. Anywhere up to, hell, probably almost a full flat grind. But very nice grind on this knife. It is super slicey, and with that D2 steel, even though D2 can tend to rust a bit for me, it's going to hold the edge just fine. And when you get it, just throw some EDCI or some mineral oil or anything to help fight that corrosion, and you'll be good to go there. But this is definitely a great EDC blade. Very, very slicey. I was really impressed by that at 15 thousandths behind the edge. That's in the Civivi category there, so that's pretty impressive. And as far as the handle and ergos on this guy, this is where we have a little bit of a downfall, and I will just address both of those right now, then get back to the positives of this knife. The micarta on this, I don't know what they were trying to do. The picture looked just like this on Blade HQ, and I thought maybe it was just a picture of a prototype, and maybe they were using different micarta on the actual production run, but they weren't. And it's not very attractive looking micarta. You see that little blurred blemish there. It looks kind of nasty. You don't really see a weave. Let me bring, here we go. We got a CJRB Crag. Now this, you'll be seeing a review on this here very soon as well. But this is strictly just for the micarta. Now this is burlap micarta. I don't know if this is canvas or burlap. If it's burlap, it's just burlap with a very tight weave. But the more I look at it, I kind of think it's canvas micarta. I'm not sure, but as you look at it, you look at this and you can see the grain. It looks, you see the micarta, you see the weave, you see the texture and grain, and it almost has kind of like a 3D look to it almost, which looks amazing. But here, it just looks like it was all smashed down, and I don't know if the resin or the mixture that they put in with the material just got up too high, and you don't see enough of the actual threads and texture and grain popping through. But it just doesn't look great, and on the back, it's really even worse. It's kind of dried out here. I get that because of the clip. It's not letting oils or anything wet touch it. I know that. But up here, it's like from one extreme to the other, and you can't, like, you can see kind of the little spotty blemishes up there and stuff. So that's not excellent. That's actually kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't call it terrible, but it's not good. It's not good, and neither is this hot spot on the clip right here. That's the other thing. I don't have a problem with it not being deep carry. I like the design and the lines of the clip. I think it goes really well with the knife, actually. I also wish this was stonewashed. I really wish, if you got a stonewashed blade, I always wish they would stonewash the clip so you wouldn't have so much shine at the back end. But that's not that's not my big gripe. My big gripe is this hot spot. And I'm saying that because it's not a hot spot for me, because I have ridiculously calloused hands. So when it's in my hand, this is actually sitting, as you can see, when I pull it up, you can't really tell, but when I actually grip down on it, this point is pushing in on this callus right here on my finger, or on my palm. So I think your palm's down here, right? This is, yeah, whatever. I'm not a doctor. But this part of my hand right here, it hurts. No, the callus kind of blocks the hot spot, so it doesn't bother me. But if you don't have calloused hands, if you have smaller hands or bigger hands or whatever, this is going to feel different in everybody's hands. You may very well be affected by this. It's pretty pointy. I'm not going to say it's sharp. It's not sharp, but you feel it, and you definitely know it's there, and I would consider that a hot spot. I don't consider many pocket clips a hot spot, a true hot spot, but I would say this is definitely a true hot spot. So that's the only bad about this knife, is the quality of the micarta and this little hot spot. But when you get back to the overall feel, the overall lines and, design of these scales, I love. I think Kansept is really onto something here. They've got a lot of good things going for this. It feels great in hand. They did a really good job of making the liner lock accessible so that blade can so easily shake shut, which we're about to get into. As a matter of fact, let's get into the action right now, because That's the really great thing about this knife to go along with the blade, is the action, and the action is great. I would say it's borderline excellent. No real complaints with the action whatsoever. And that cutout I was talking about earlier makes this, of course, makes this knife very fidgety. It is not hard to deploy this blade whatsoever, and the detent is very strong. Blade's not shaking out. Blade is not shaken out, but the detent is not too hard to where the tab hurts your finger when you're flipping it out or pushing it out. I tend to do push more than flip. I've said in episodes before, you can flip it like that, or you can push it, and I just always prefer pushing it. I think it just, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it sends the blade out a little better. But regardless, however you want to do it, it's going to work just fine. You can even use your thumb and, well, let's see. You can use your thumb and flip it out like that too, but that feels a little awkward. But you can do it. It's a very unique cutout on this blade, but it works, and it works very well. Outside of front flipping, which I can't do, my next favorite way of deployment is Spidey flick, and it works very well on this guy. So very fidgety, flies out, and also easily shakes shut. Actually, you got to barely shake it, and it actually, it kind of, yeah, I would say it almost dropped shut. So Kansept, they got a lot of good things going on here. I didn't want to totally destroy the knife because of some poor micarta and a hot spot on the clip. Other than that, my overall thoughts on this guy, it has a super slicey blade, a gorgeous blade. Action is on point and very fidgety. And what is even better with this knife, I meant to do this at the beginning, but I'll do it now, is the presentation you get with this. For a $56 knife, you're getting a lot on the presentation side, and I was really impressed by this. I thought this was awesome. So this is the box it comes in. Kansept. See how it's got the cutouts there? So it kind of slides open. And it's a sturdy box too. This is very nice packaging. In here, you have a little envelope that has a cloth to wipe your blade off with, and it's got probably just a huge hello, care, all that, the regular stuff. You all know what's in that, but always gotta like the cleaning cloth coming with it. So that's all on top. But then even inside here, the knife actually comes in this really nice, really modern looking pouch where it just slides open, swings open, and the knife's right there. So I'm really going to give it to Kansept. This is probably the best packaging. It is the best packaging I've ever seen for a budget knife. And there's a lot of things I appreciate when it comes to just doing stuff the right way. And you can tell they went the extra mile in their presentation. And presentation is important, guys. You know, yeah, you want a nice knife, but, you know, when I open up a Hinderer and it comes in that cheap, crappy cardboard box, I just feel like that could be better. And with a $56 knife, you're getting pretty awesome packaging. And, doesn't matter. Some will argue it does or doesn't, but you know what? To me, this shows that they take pride in their product from beginning to end, not just the knife, which the knife is always going to be the most important thing. But to see them go this extra mile and provide some very unique and attractive packaging, I really like that. I think that's pretty awesome. So I'm very impressed with the packaging, which, like I said, is good. But again, it's a full, complete package of what you're getting. And Kansept is not too far off here from some really great things. Really great things, in my opinion. They changed this micarta to a little better micarta and just round off this clip a little, which kind of sucks because I really do like the way that clip looks, but it's just a little bit of a hot spot there. You fix those two problems, and this is easily a knife of the year contender in its respective price category for me. I still really, really like it. I want to love it, and if it had better micarta and didn't have that hot spot, I would absolutely love it. It would be one of my all-time favorite budget knives. That's just how I honestly feel. So I really hope they do change that. And if they do, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing more Kansept. You will see more Kansept on this channel. I can promise you that. That's what I think about this knife. What do you guys think? Have you had a Kansept yet? Good experience, bad experience? Let me know. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Until the next one, I'm out.